The difference quotient is a 4-part process. We are going to, and it's really operations with functions. It is not composition of functions. Okay, so this is operations of functions. So I've got to do 4 things. The first thing that I've got to do is find f of x plus h. Then I'm going to subtract my original function, divide by h, and then simplify. Okay, those are the 4 steps that you have to go through. So here's my function right here, negative 2x plus 3. That is a linear function. That is a linear function. We know that because the graph is a line, but we also know that because x is raised to the first power. Okay, that's how we know that this is a linear function. So what we're going to do here, the very first thing that we're going to do, and I'm going to try to keep everything in colors so that you can see it clearly. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to find f of x plus h. So that means for this x right here, I'm going to put in x plus h. So I've got negative 2 times x plus h plus 3. Okay? And that is the first thing that we do, is we find x plus h. And we are going to simplify that in just a minute. The second thing that I do is I subtract my original function. This is where students make mistakes. They subtract and they don't distribute. So I am subtracting all of my original function. So what am I going to have to do with that minus sign? I'm going to have to make it positive, but then what am I going to have to do with the 3? Make it negative. I'm distributing that minus sign. Then the last thing that I do, or the third thing that I do, is I divide everything by h. So I have f of x plus h, I've subtracted f of x, and I've divided everything by h. And now I'm going to simplify. So with my negative 2, I've got to distribute. So I've got negative 2x minus 2h. Okay, I just bring my plus 3 down. Okay, minus a negative is plus 2x. I've got to distribute that to both. So then I have minus 3. Now, a whole lot of stuff cancels out. Okay, I've got negative 2x. Then I've got positive 2x. I've got positive 3, and then I've got negative 3. So those cancel out. And that happens. If that doesn't happen, then you've made a mistake somewhere, because you are going to have stuff cancel out. So now I am left with negative 2h over h. So my difference quotient for this is negative 2. Now think about what you know about linear functions. Y equals mx plus b. F of x equals negative 2x plus 3. What is this? It is slope. It is slope. When you are asked to find the difference quotient, you are being asked to find the slope at a specific point on a function. That's what you're being asked to do. Okay? Now it's very easy for us to identify that this is slope now because this is linear. It's not as easy to identify when it's nonlinear. So let's do one that's nonlinear. We're going to follow the exact same process. Okay? This isn't linear. This is quadratic. So we're going to find the difference quotient for this quadratic. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find f of x plus h. And I'm going to keep that in blue, just so we can keep everything separate. So instead of plugging in x, I'm plugging in x plus h. Everywhere there's an x. So I have x plus h squared minus 4 times x plus h plus 7. Okay? That is step 1. All of that is step one. And in a minute, we're going to simplify that. We're going to simplify each part of that because we've got lots of simplifying that we need to do there. Okay? Then, my next step is to subtract my original function. So I am subtracting all of it. X squared minus 4x plus 7. Okay? Those parentheses are important because I've got to distribute that minus to the whole thing. Okay? Now I am going to divide. I'm dividing everything by h. Okay. Now we've got to kind of make sense of all of this. X plus h squared is not x squared plus h squared. Okay? It's not. X plus h squared means we have to FOIL x plus h. So I'm going to have x plus h times x plus h. X times x is x squared. X times h is xh. H times x is hx. But could I have written xh? Is h times x and x times h the same thing? Yes. Then I've got h times h, which is h squared. So this simplifies to x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. Okay? So I am replacing this, just that part. I've just FOILed that. So now I have x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. The next thing I've got to do is distribute my negative 4. So I have negative 4x minus 4h. So I have dealt with this right here. Then what do I have left? Plus 7. Good. Now I'm going to my second part. Subtract f of x. So for this part, I've got to distribute that minus sign to everything. So I am going to have negative x squared plus 4x minus 7. And then I'm dividing by h. Okay. At this point, we're simplifying. And we've got lots of stuff to simplify out. My x squared and my minus x squared, negative 4x, positive 4x, positive 7, and negative 7. Okay? If you don't simplify quite a bit of things out, then you've made a mistake somewhere. Okay? They're going to cancel. So now I'm left with 2xh plus h squared minus 4h, and I'm dividing by h. The next step is I've got a common h in all of these. So I'm going to pull out an h, and I'm left with 2x plus h minus 4. So my final answer here is 2x plus h minus 4.